With sites like Yellowstone National Park, several water-shooting geysers, Devil's Tower, winding rivers, waterfalls, hills and plains, who couldn't fall in love with Wyoming? For the past few years, Wyoming saw 26,000 people each year moving to the state. That may not seem like much, but that's nearly 5% of its small population of 578,800. So, what is drawing so many people to the middle of nowhere? A mere flyover state? A sprawling frontier? The answer is easy. It's beautiful, has low taxes. It's beautiful, has a low cost of living. It's beautiful, has low crime. And did we mention it's beautiful? According to Wallet Hub in 2023, Wyoming was the 4th best state to retire in. And it's not just retirees that are flocking to the equality state. True to its nickname, younger people are also moving to the state, particularly to its capital of Cheyenne. Many who have made the move have said that it is close enough to enjoy all the amenities of Colorado without the Colorado price tag. Despite the harsh winters and overall less than ideal climate, let's look at why people are flooding into the vast wilderness of Wyoming. Number 7 is crime, or rather lack thereof. Since the year 2000, Wyoming has seen an average of only 28 murders per year, and some of those were people vacationing in the state's national parks, like YouTube star Gabby Petito in 2021. She was murdered by her boyfriend when the couple was traveling from Florida, so you can hardly blame Wyoming for that. Its violent crime rate of 234 incidents for every 100,000 people is the lowest of any state in the West and 8th lowest nationwide. By stark contrast, its neighbor Colorado has the 8th highest violent crime rate. So you get all the beauty that you can get in Colorado while also enjoying a full life. When all crimes are considered, both violent and non-violent, Wyoming's crime rate is 39% lower than the national average. Despite 60% of the state owning a gun, the 2nd highest in the nation, gun violence in the state is significantly lower than the national average. Number 6 are the taxes. Wyoming has no state income tax. At 4%, the state's sales tax is one of the lowest of any state with a sales tax. And on top of that, neither Social Security income nor withdrawals from retirement accounts are taxed in Wyoming, further making it a haven for retirees. But it also benefits the young residents who want to call Wyoming home for the long run. Knowing that their assets in retirement will be protected from taxation is an appealing notion when choosing where to move. Its low sales tax means that despite the rampant inflation plaguing the country, the low sales tax will keep some of those costs at bay. Younger, single residents all cite the cheaper cost of basic necessities as a reason for moving. About 17% of all new residents come from Colorado, with California and Washington state also being top contributors to Wyoming's booming population. The sales tax in California and Washington are 7.25% and 6.5% respectively, so you can see why Wyoming would be tempting. Not to mention California's income tax, which can be as high as 13.3%. Number 5 is the cost of living. In 2021, a typical single-family home in the United States costs around $303,000. On the contrary, a typical single-family home in Wyoming is just $279,449, lower than the national average. Wyoming is not immune to the overall costs of housing prices, with a 6.4% increase between 2020 and 2021, but that pales in comparison to the national one-year home value appreciation of a staggering 17.7%. Within the state, nearly 72% of residents own their home, compared to just 66% nationwide. New York, California, Nevada, Hawaii, and Rhode Island had the lowest homeownership rates, while Washington, D.C. had the lowest rate at only 38.3%. The prospect of owning a home is a big reason why people would leave states like California with a home ownership rate of only 44% and Colorado with a rate of only 65%. Benefits of home ownership include long-term security and equity. It's been a fairly secure investment for young people. And on top of that, there is no capital gains tax in Wyoming. In other words, there is not a state-level tax imposed on capital gains earned by individuals, businesses, or other legal entities. Number 4 is job opportunities. Wyoming's economy is heavily tied to mining and agriculture, mainly the marketing of beef cattle and sheep. The state also has an important and growing tourist industry, serving millions of visitors to the state's parks and historic sites. Yellowstone National Park alone employs 386 year-round employees and an additional 348 people seasonally. Hundreds more are employed at Grand Teton National Park both year-round and seasonally. The unemployment rate in Wyoming is only 2.9% as of August 2023 compared to 3.8% nationally. When comparing to the states people are leaving, the contrast is even more obvious, with California having an above-average unemployment rate of 4.6%. Those who want to get out of a cubicle and into the great outdoors can find employment in many agricultural sectors. According to Indeed, an employment website for job listings, there are nearly 10,000 open jobs in Wyoming as of October 2023. Number 3 is lack of poverty and income security. The median household income in Wyoming in 2022 was around $74,000 a year, which is on par with the national average. This is pretty impressive considering how low the cost of living is. Your money goes a lot further in Wyoming. In terms of poverty, 11% live below the poverty line, which is well below the national average. In terms of Wyoming's youth, the state has one of the lowest percentages in the country of kids on free or reduced lunch. This low poverty rate is likely also why there is such a low crime rate. Combined with affordable housing and income security, it's no doubt that so many people are calling the state home. Number 2 is health. With wide open skies and low pollution, people are drawn to the prospects of a healthier lifestyle. Forget going to the gym, Wyoming is a natural paradise for hiking, kayaking, mountain biking, and running. In terms of the state's overall health, Wyoming has a low prevalence of chronic illness, low levels of pollution, and a high vaccination rate. Cheyenne ranked among the nation's cleanest cities for ozone pollution in the last year's report with an A grading. The state is so clean and free of pollution that some of the nation's best stargazing can be found across the state. Many people flock there each year to see the Milky Way spread across the vast sky. It's no wonder people are so healthy. Quite the contrast from California, the nation's most polluted state. And number 1 is by far its natural beauty. From Yellowstone National Park to Grand Teton, Wyoming is one of America's most beautiful states. Yellowstone is the oldest national park and is home to the famous geyser, Old Faithful. The Rocky Mountains and Grand Tetons run through the state. While winters may be harsh and unforgiving, the summers are mild and pleasant. Wyoming has 6 physiographic regions, including the Black Hills, the Great Plains, the Southern, Middle, the Northern Rocky Mountains, and the Wyoming Basin. This diverse range of ecosystems also make for a plethora of wildlife. For wildlife spotters, you will be treated to several species of bears, wolves, elk, moose, mountain lions, and more. For bird enthusiasts, there is a lot of diversity among species. Winding rivers, waterfalls, hills, plains, and geothermal pools dot the state and make it a beacon for those who want to move away from the monotony of city life.